you look from your vibrational place of alignment. You see, here's what you must do if you are to be of value to them, and if you are to stay in alignment with who you are. And unless you stay in alignment with who you are, you cannot be of value to them. If you're not connected to this stream, you've got nothing to flow. So the best way to understand is that as you are evaluating or sorting through the contrast, and you see something that you really do not like, some of that stuff will take you to your knees. It is so much that you do not want it. In the degree of knowing what you do not want, you are launching a equal rocket of desire. So by seeing their plight or their suffering, you are asking for their recovery or for their balance or for their well-being. You're launching this rocket, and source becomes a vibrational match to it. In other words, the suffering of the world has created a vibrational reality of such well-being and such proportion we can't even describe it. And it is from that balance of well-being that new ones are being born. But the ones who are here could benefit from this vibrational reality that you are all part of creating. But you've got to be in the vibrational vicinity of it, or you as an individual or as a part of mass consciousness do not realize it. You don't get to let it be part of your experience if you don't believe it, if you don't expect it, if you're not a vibrational match to it. You can't set your radio dial on 101 AM and hear what's being broadcast on 98.7 FM. In other words, the frequencies have to match up. So you can't have your frequency set on poverty in the world or suffering in the world and be part of the flow of the pure positive energy. But here's the thing. You see, source is flowing to all of you, to all of them. There is a river, a stream, a powerful flow of clarity and abundance and well-being going to all of them. The question is, why aren't they letting it in? How is it that they've come to practice thoughts that hold them in a vibrational frequency? And you kind of ought to know that you're practicing thoughts that hold you in that frequency, because these thoughts that are holding you apart from the frequency of alignment feel so awful when you think them, you see. And so the best that you can do for anyone is to thrive in every way you can. And in your thriving, in your holding yourself in alignment, because thriving and alignment are the same thing, as you hold anyone as your object of attention. And this goes to the heart of your question. What can I do? What can I do? You said. When you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and you're holding someone as your object of attention, you're flooding pure positive energy all over them. Whether they can receive it or not is not something that you have very much control over. And they're going to look at you and they're going to say, but you're happy and I'm not. I need you to understand my plight. Otherwise, you can't help me. And you want to say, if I understand your plight, I will be a vibrational part of your plight. And then for sure, I can't help you. But they don't want you to be over there thriving. They want you to be over there suffering with them, because it's all they know. They're not sucking you in because they don't care about you. They're sucking you in because that's the momentum of what they've got going on. So you have to understand how this works. You have to decide if you want to be part of the wellness, if you want to be part of the abundance, if you want to be part of the solution. The vibration of a question and the vibration of an answer are very different frequencies. The vibration of a problem and the vibration of a solution are very different frequencies. So when you tune yourself by focusing upon things that make it easy for you to align, going as general as you need to go in order to align, and then tune into who you really are, and then hold someone as your object of attention. It is our promise to you that if you can hold someone who you formerly saw as suffering as your object of attention, and you've practiced so well that you see them as thriving. That's what Jesus did. As you stood before him dripping your illness, he saw not your illness. He looked at you and he knew your well-being, and he knew it so powerfully and so clearly that your illness simply could not abide in his vibration. That's why he said, go forth and tell no one. Don't go home and talk about it. You'll talk yourself right back in to the frequency that was disallowing the wellness to begin with, you see. So it feels harsh to you when we say mind your own business. But what we really mean is tend to your own frequency, and then tend to your own frequency, and then. And you'll reach the place where you'll be so consistently filled with this stream of replenishing well-being. No depletion happening, just flowing through you, flowing through you, flowing through you. That when you see someone not allowing it, it won't upset your apple cart. It won't throw you off your game. You will be able to know their wellness even in their demonstration of their not wellness, because you know how it works, you see. It's like not one of you stands in front of your faucet. Beautiful faucets in this hotel. Esther was just enjoying them so much. And not one of you stands before your faucet when it's turned off and says, oh, mine's broken. There should be water flowing out of that all the time, you say. You know that from a moment to the next, it can be not flowing or flowing. And we really want you to understand that for those people who look like they're not flowing, from one moment to the next, they could be flowing. But if you see them as not flowing, then you are a perpetuator of that, you see.
I understand that. I appreciate that response. I think
it's really general, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was really general. So easy to understand. So easy to feel. Not very satisfying though, was it?
It is satisfying. The more specific question is if those people, not whether or not I should or should not remain in my vortex, but if someone who is out of the vortex can physically affect me.
But in what case would that be? First of all, they can't even get in your experience unless you're giving your attention to them. Law of attraction will not match you up. So the first question you want to ask is, why is this in my experience? Why is this in my experience? Because I have an active vibration about it.
But is there a jungle of different vibrational frequencies that everybody on the planet, is there one, I guess what it comes down to, is there one Earth that we're all kind of in an ecosystem of different vibrational frequencies that are all just in kind of harmony with one another?
There are as many different frequencies as there are thoughts. The combinations of thoughts and frequencies is so extraordinary in number that trying to decipher it would drive you crazy. Every thought has a frequency, and every combination of thought has a frequency. But you can understand the frequency of thought in much more simple terms when you think in terms of emotion. Joy has a frequency, and there are a lot of thoughts that line up with that frequency. Despair has a frequency, and there are a lot of thoughts that line up with that frequency.
So they
Overwhelmment
pool together. They pool together.
Law of attraction puts them together. But all of those, you see, here's the thing that will help you so much. All of those frequencies, all of those projector of frequencies, all of those transmitters and receivers that are all around you, all of them are irrelevant to you once you remember that there are only two frequencies that are really any of your business. That's the frequency of the source within you and the frequency of your point of attraction right here and now. The reason that we've been talking so much through the years about how all of this works is because we want you to understand your vibrational place in all of this. So we started by talking about law of attraction. Law of attraction says that which is likened to itself is drawn, just like radio signals. So then we began explaining to you that you are launching these rockets and that you are creating a vibrational version of everything that can potentially be a see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it reality. But there's a vibrational version of it first. And that vibrational version of it, we talked about your vortex. You're so kind to us as we wave Esther's arm around and point at this invisible place. Your vortex where who you really are is and everything you want is. And then people began feeling as they began sensing what they were creating. They began saying things to us, not right out loud, but we heard it from you often. All right, Abraham, I get it. But how do I get my money out of the vortex and into the bank? How do I turn those thoughts, those vibrations into the tangible, into something that I can translate, something that I can realize, So then we began explaining to you, and this is really what we want you to hear and feel from us right now. You have a point of attraction right here and now. You are emitting a vibration. It's the vibration that you're offering. Doesn't matter what you offered yesterday or the day before, although it's likely that what you're doing today is going to be pretty much like what you did yesterday and the day before, because you've got that momentum going. And even though when you went to sleep last night, your momentum stopped, when you woke up, you usually pick up on the thoughts sort of where you left off. So you've got this vibrational offering that you are emitting. And that signal that you are emitting has a relationship to all of this vibrational reality that you've created. So let's say you've been watching a friend suffer, or maybe it's a mass thing, but let's say it's somebody you care about, and you've been watching, and every time you hear the story, you launch a rocket of what you would prefer. You want prosperity for this friend, and you want order in this friend's life. You want this person to feel good. You want this person to feel happy. Every time they're not happy, you want happiness for them. Every time they don't have enough of something they need or want, you want them to have it. So you have, without even knowing you've done it, you have created in your vortex a vibrational version of your friend. Your friend helped you to co-create this vibrational version. The question that we want to put to you is, which friend do you have your eyes on most of the time? The vibrational version or the reality version? Which friend are you thinking about? Are you focused unconditionally? Get it? Or conditionally? Are you letting the conditions that you don't want to see dominate your vibration by not having the discipline to look here, to look into the vortex? That really is what upliftment is about. You've got to see them as they really are, not as they are temporarily being. And when you catch a glimpse of who someone really is, and you reflect it back to them as often as you can, you speak only when you're alignment to your children, to your girlfriend, to your boyfriend, to the people that you care about, to strangers. You get in the vortex, or you get in vibrational alignment with what's in the vortex, and that's when you speak. Under those conditions, everything that you are is a catalyst to the upliftment of them. Now, can they hear it? Sometimes not. If you're on this high flying disc and they're on a lower flying disc, if they're in a completely different vibrational frequency, your words are just going to bounce right off of them. They're not going to hear it. But you're not doing it for them here. You're doing it for them here. You're not doing it for them anyway. You're doing it for you. Sometimes people say, that person does not deserve my kindness. And we say, no, but you do. You deserve your kindness. You deserve to feel good about this. But Abraham, have you seen the way this person is behaving? How can I feel good about that? You got to find some way to feel good regardless of what's going on, you see. That's what unconditional love is. So if someone you know has the good fortune of being one of your objects of attention, and you are predominantly feeling good, and every now and again thinking about them, you know what happens? This is specifically for you. You get tuned in, tapped in, turned on. You do it all the time. And then from that aligned position, a thought of what you're talking about comes into your mind, because your inner being knows this is the time for you to turn your attention to that. And sometimes, most every time, when that happens, you feel it for just a moment, and then you look at the reality of where they are. And then you feel that great disconnect between what source just gave you because you were tuned in and what you're choosing to focus upon right in their reality. And then the negative emotion that you feel is not about their plight. It's about what you've just done to yourself. Mm-hmm. Don't you love knowing that? Mm-hmm. So you want to say to your friends, I love you so much. And they say, oh, that's so kind. I say, no, I'm doing it for me. You're doing it for me. Oh, I thought you loved me for me. No. No. I find that when I love, I feel so good, so it must be for me. Oh, I thought you were loving me for me. No, I don't think so, because it feels so good to me when I love. And when I'm mad at you, it feels so awful. When I feel good, it's my doing. When I feel bad, it's yours.